So let's find the value of f of -1. So what this means is the function, which is the rule, is defined by f of x equals 2x plus 1. What this means is that this equation will help us figure out the value of y, which is f of x, if we plug in an x. So for every x, there's exactly one y in a function. And how do we find the y? By plugging in the x, because y depends on x. So f of any number that you plug in will be twice that number plus 1. So you double the number and then you add 1. And you can plug in anything that you want. Let's say I want to plug in -1. I want to evaluate the function f at x equals -1. So 2 times -1 plus 1. And that's equal to -2 plus 1, and that's equal to -1. Now suppose I want to evaluate g of 3. Then that would be, let's write the equation down. G of x equals x squared minus 1. So how do we figure out the value of the function at x equals 3? So basically, if we plug in a 3, whatever we get for g, the value of g, that is g of 3, is called the value of the function. So we are evaluating the function at x equals 3. So the rule says, if you plug in anything into this function, then g of that value is given by the rule square the number and subtract 1. You can plug in any number that you want in the domain of the function. So we plug in a 3, we square the 3 and subtract 1, so that is 9 minus 1, which is equal to 8. So what we're doing here is evaluating the function. Now what if I want to find h of x minus 1? What does this mean? I need to figure out the value of h at x minus 1. So h of x is equal to 3x minus 1. So h of x is equal to 3x minus 1. So how does the rule work? If you plug in any number, you take 3 times that number minus 1. So in this case, I want to plug in the number x minus 1. So what I do is, I go x minus 1, I'm basically plugging in the x minus 1 into the rule, equals 3 times that number. No matter what we're plugging in, just write it down, and then minus 1. So this is equal to 3x minus 3 minus 1. So that is equal to 3x minus 4. So what this tells me is that h, the value of the function h, when I plug in an x minus 1, is equal to 3x minus 4. So let's try something else. So what if I have to go g of (2a), if I want to evaluate the function g at x equals 2a. Now let's see how the function g of x works. So g of x is equal to x squared minus 1, and that's equal to whatever you plug into g, you square it and subtract 1. Now I need to plug in a 2a. So what is g of 2a? You square the entire 2a, put it in parentheses so you don't forget to square the whole thing, and then subtract the 1. So the rule of exponents says that This is 2 squared a squared. Each one gets squared. Minus 1. So that is equal to 4a squared minus 1. So it's just as simple as plugging in a number into the rule, which is your algebraic equation, and figuring out what the answer is. Now, just like numbers, if we have two numbers, we can add numbers, we can subtract numbers, we can divide one number by the other. So we can do the same thing with functions. If we have two functions, we can add the two functions. And what is the sum of the two functions? For example, f of x and g of x. It's written as f plus g of x. That is the same as f of x plus g of x. Now, just like adding numbers, you're adding functions. F of x is given by the rule 2x plus 1, and g of x is given by the rule x squared minus 1. So when I combine the two, this is equal to x squared plus 2x. So f plus g of x is equal to x squared plus 2x. So when I add the two functions, this is what I get. Now what if I go h of x minus, let's say, minus f of x. So I take the h of x, which is equal to 3x minus 1, and I have to subtract the entire equation. So I put it in parentheses. This is something that we have to be extremely careful about. It's not just the 2x, but the entire 2x plus 1 that needs to be subtracted. So when you simplify it, you get 2x minus 1 minus 2x minus 1. So this is equal to 3x minus 2x, which is x, minus 1, there are 2, so that would be minus 2. So when I subtract one function from the other, so h minus f, I've subtracted the function f from h of x is equal to x minus 2, the equation. So we can add functions, we can subtract functions, we can multiply functions. Let's say I want to multiply the function f with the function, let's say g, and I want to write it as an equation in x. So my function f, so this is f of x times g of x. So I take the function f of x, which is 2x plus 1. Do not forget the parentheses because it is a sum of two numbers, times g of x, which is x squared minus 1. I simplify it and I get 2x times x squared minus 1 plus 1 times x squared minus 1. So this is equal to, I'm using the distributive property, 2x cubed, because x times x squared is x cubed, minus 2x plus, that's how I got the minus 2x, plus x squared. 1 times x squared is x squared, it's a plus, and then 1 times minus 1 is negative 1. So what I get is 2x cubed plus x squared minus 2x minus 1. So you can multiply functions. And if I want to go 2 times h of x, I want to find out what happens to the function when I multiply it with 2. So remember, parentheses are important. You have to multiply the entire equation by 2. So this is equal to 6x minus 2, and that is 2h of x, so that is 2h, that is double the function h, is 6x minus 2. This is the equation that gives me 2 times h of x. Now similarly, I could divide one function by the other. F over g of x is the same as f of x over g of x. So I can go 2x plus 1, which is f of x over g of x, is x squared minus 1. And this gives me the equation of f over g of x.